I'm going to show you how we're going to digitize this fringy heart. So the first thing I did is I went into my Embrilliance, and I am now in, I'll go here to creator mode. I want to first pick my shape. I've already picked my hoop, so that's all done. So the shape is this little flower thing right here. And I'm going to pick, there is shapes here called hearts, and this is the heart that I want to pick. And so I hit OK. I want to resize this, so I'm going to hit the select key. And now it's showing me what size. I want to make this 4 inches. And I want this to make this one a little, I'll just make it a little shorter. It's kind of elongated. I want a little more rounded. Okay. So now I need to copy and copy, which is up here, copy and paste. And now I have 2. So let me change the color of this second one to something else. That's good. For this one, I want to change the size of this one, the second one, the one I just pasted. And I'm going to hit select, and I'm going to make this one now, say 3 1/4 inches. I want it smaller. Okay, and let me make this picture a little bigger. I need to fix this a little bit. It's not quite looking like I need it to look for this, a good fringe. So I am going to go back to the create mode. And I'm selecting the little nodes. See the little circles here? So I'm going to move one down. I'm going to move this one up. And it's sort of the shape that I like it. Okay, so I'm going to now, if you have this create 3, the version 3, you have these icons. So if I select these by hitting Control on the right hand side and clicking both of these at the same time, this now creates a column fill with both of them. So when I click off, we have that. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Right here, and I column fill it. See, it does weird things. So I'm not really happy with that. And yes, that's a nice shortcut to have. However, I'm going to spend a lot of time fixing this line so that it works right. There's an easier way. I'm going to undo and undo. Actually, I'm going to delete this second one. This leaves the last 2 lines. Okay, we're back to the original 2 lines. I deleted that double. So now what I can do is use this as a template in order to manual punch. And by manual punching, I mean, this is old. This is how we used to digitize in old palette 2.0. It's still available in the old palettes. Is it my favorite way? No, not really. But this actually is going to solve a lot of problems. And for fringe work, this is the way to go. So what I want to do is I'm going to select, and this you can do if you have, is it version? If you have version 2, you now have this icon. If you have version 1, there's version 1. You don't have that this option. But if you have version 2, this is what your screen looks like. And I'm looking for this manual punch icon. So I click that. And so I'm going to start on the right here and come down. And you just go back and forth. So if you're going, so first one really doesn't give you anything. The third one, now you're starting to get a shape. So this is, I'm delineating this outer part of the heart. I'm coming in. This is now my stitch angle. So I go in and I go out a little bit, and now I change my stitch angle. And I can go around. Oop, I didn't click it. If you get a curve like that, you know you've done something wrong. So you just hit the backspace key. And this is actually pretty quick once you get used to it. And it's a lot easier with a mouse because you don't keep, and I'm using a mouse. I'm not going to go around and do the whole thing, but you get the, well, I'll do the idea of 1 because, and I will speed this up on editing. And I want to end up on the opposite side. See, the green shows where I started. I want to stop on the opposite side, and I hit the enter key. Now it automatically does my fringe. It's doing it in pink. That's fine. Okay, and let's make this a little smaller. And it automatically makes it a column fill. Now in the properties box, this is where we tell it what kind of fill we want it to be. I want it to be, so here is telling me the stitch properties. This is underlayment. I don't want any underlayment. I'm going to turn it all off. Under fringe, you don't want any. Okay, go back to this, and over here where it says stitch, and where it says normal, I'm going to leave the density and all the defaults the same, but I'm going to come down and find, I have fringe left and fringe right. I don't know whether it's right or left. I'm just going to pick the left first, and we'll do a test stitch to see what happens. So that already sets it up as a fringe. And what that does is, let's look at the stitch simulator. Okay, so as it stitches, okay, good. It's going left is what I want, because I want it to anchor on this inside. And then it stitches. And it anchors again. Okay. Now this inside line right here, the one above it, because when it fringes, it does do that tack down stitch, but I would like it to have a little more anchor than that. So I'm going to take this upper line right here, and I'm going to give it the attribute. I go to create. I want it to be a regular satin stitch here. Okay, and it's kind of big. I don't want it that wide. So it's 3.5 millimeters wide. I'm just going to accept all the defaults, except for I'm going to pick width, and I'm going to slide it down to 1. I just want it an extra little zigzag in there. I also want to make sure I don't have any underlayment here. I don't need it. I'm trying to just simply zigzag those down. I don't need a whole lot of stitching there. Okay. Now when I go to do the next heart, okay, what I would do is I would now take this same satin border here and copy and paste it, but I don't want it to be a satin border. I want it to be back to being just a line. So I'm going to select it here on the right, come up here to this little blue box, and now it's just a line. Okay, I'm going to inflate that a little bit, so I want to make it a little bigger. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to make it maybe 3.5 high, just a little higher. Okay, I want to go to my creator, and I'm going to make this up. So what I'm looking for is I want this to be above where that satin stitch is, not a whole lot above. Oh, back again, pick that, come down a little bit, and that's sort of clearing it. I might come down just a little more. Okay, and then I'm going to copy and paste, and then lower the line again. So let me make this a little smaller, and I want to select that and then make it even smaller. So here we go to, I'll make it 3 inches, no, maybe 2 3/4 inches. Okay. I want to hide everything else. So I'm going to actually take this column fill right here, and I'm going to hide it, which is this little icon with the X. I don't want to look at it. Okay, it's same thing. I probably don't want that one either. The second one, I don't want that either. So I'm going to hide that one as well. Oh, no, I didn't hide it. Wrong one. Oops. Let's show all. We got to fix that here. Okay, I want to hide that. Hide that. and hide that. And I noticed that's in the wrong order, but we'll fix that later. Okay, now I want to see, oh, I didn't want to hide that one. Okay. All right, so I have these two. I need to fix this smaller one. So once again, I'll pick that. Go to create, see my nodes, and then fix that one. Go into manual punch, just like I did before. I'm not going to do it now, but I would do it exactly the same as I did the last time. The only thing I notice is that I need to change this order. So I'm going to show all. There we go. Come on, show all. I wanted to unlock all. All right, we're not going to do it. Okay, there's more than one way. I've unlocked these. I need to move this satin border down. Okay, mostly because I want to do the fringe. So let's just say I had, I'm just going to, let me see. So this, well, let me show you how it's going to stitch here. Okay, so we stitch, it does the fringe, it does this satin stitch, okay, and I'd leave it all the same color so it would run. Then it would do, now the second set of satin, well, let me just do a little bit of it here. Okay, so I'm going to hide this one just so that I don't see it. And this one I'm going to hide. Okay, so now I have this inner ring. I don't need that top one anymore at all, so I'm going to delete that. Okay, so now I would do the same thing. I would come over here, create, do a manual punch, manual, create, manual punch. Can't get it to do manual punch for me. Okay. Why are you not doing this? Go select. Back to this. Okay, manual punch. Okay, now I've selected the manual punch and I'm going to do the same thing again, only I'm just going to do a few of them. In the outside and the inside, and for a while you're going to sort of keep saying that to yourself. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, so what I want is the second row to overlap the other one. So I'm going to show all and unlock all. Okay, so as this would stitch, now as it is right now, it would stitch like this. And just as we saw earlier in the video. Okay, so it does that tack down. The anchor stitch, it does the fringe. Okay, and the ceiling zigzag just so that it's a little tighter of a hold. Okay, and then see, now it's doing the fringe. Now, you see how this part of the fringe has to overlap the outside, you know, the first row. The reason is and then when you go to, after you've stitched it, remember I said it stitches from outside of the shape to the inside as row by row, because if you were to do it the other way around, then this zigzag would not allow, if you did it opposite, this zigzag would go on top of that. You wouldn't be able to get the fringe out. So you have to do the outer ring, the inner ring, and then however many rings as you want to do, you just keep repeating this process over or not. If you want the inner shape in order to have that solid like I did, then I would take this inner line, copy, paste it, and then just do a regular fill. So go to create, put in a regular ordinary fill, and move it first. So you would want that to stitch out first because you'd have all the others stitching on top of it. So I would move, you can either move it, which is a click and a drag up, or, and it doesn't usually go all the way, or you right click on it and just move first. So now it stitches first. So let's do simulator again. So here we go. It's doing that inside line or the inside fill, starts to fill on the outside. Okay. Then it does the fringe. Finish that. Then it fringes on the inside. And yeah, I didn't get the shapes just right, but you get the idea here. And that's all you need to do to create the fringe work. It worked really, really well. Okay, now let's go to a new page, and I'm going to show you how I made the other two things. So I'm going to again go to my shapes. It already remembered where I picked it, and I picked, I believe, was that one. Okay, this one was easy. I just copied and pasted it. So here we have a copy and a paste. So we have two. I can change the color of one of them or just leave it. If you leave it the same color, it's going to stitch all together. Okay, now over here, I'll make it, select all. I want to select them. And I want to select both of them to make it, just so I can make them both bigger at the same time. Okay, the first one, I'm going to go to Creator, and I'm picking a stippled area. Okay, I want to make, I can pick the type. I'm going to pick the geometric. Okay, I want to make this, I want the spacing closer together. That's further apart, excuse me, wrong way. About 2.5 now, a little more than that. Spacing 1.5. This actually gives you micro stippling. I want my stitch length, it says 2.2 millimeters. I need to make that a lot bigger. I'm going to make that a 4 millimeter long stitch if it'll do it. Now it won't necessarily do it. Okay, so let's see how that's going to stitch out. That's kind of, I don't like that. It did turn out awfully short stitched, so I might have to change that. Let's see. Go to this one and let's see if I can't change that to maybe less density. Move the spacing a little further apart and see if that gives me a that gives me a longer stitch. However, no. Now that does give me a little bit longer stitch. Let's see. It's okay. I am not quite sure how I'm going to make those nice long stitches without manually punching it, which means running a line, drawing the lines on my own. I'm not sure. So anyway, the other thing I would do here to change this to a satin stitch, go into Creator and pick this. This time I'll pick the satin border, which is a normal satin stitch, and its width is 3.5. I'll maybe make it 4. And then I can turn on any underlayment underneath here, edge run, a parallel, and a zigzag. So it's quite a bit there. Or I can make it freestanding. So it's okay. I wasn't totally thrilled with that. But, you know, I'm going to work on this until I get that stippling like John Deere did on his. I'm going to have to go study his designs a little more in order to get that faux stitching look to it. I'm sure I can do it. Okay, now for the last one, how to create a simple applique. Again, went to a new page, get to creator, and I'm going to pick this, and it's going to remember where I was. So I want to pick another heart, and I think I picked was that one. Close enough, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. Now this one's just a simple applique. And again, I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, just so we can see better. Okay, this is simple. All I have to do is pick applique. And that is this icon here, and that is available even on version 1. So if you have Stitch Artist or Create 1, you can still do a simple applique, and I simply pick the applique, that's not it, the applique stitch right there. It's going to come out with the E stitch, but I say I want it to be over here on the right hand side. Border is going to be, I want a satin stitch. Okay, I want the stitch width, the border density stitch width of 3. 3 is too small. I wanted at least 4. Okay, gives me a wider one. And then the stitch, yeah, that's good. Then I can tell it if I want a fabric positioning and material, or preview or pre-cut. So here, preview, well, here, let's show you what they give me here. Pre-cut is going to create an SVG file so that you can cut that out. Okay, I don't want to do that right now, but here now you will see that it actually creates 3 different stitches. You have your applique position, the material, which is your tack down stitch, and your satin stitch with just 1 click. Easy peasy. And then there's your, see, there we go. Did a really nice job. And that's all that is to creating a simple applique. All right, now that we've stitched it out, if you have any questions, send me an email at waltzquilt@yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to help you with any, well, I'll help you as much as I'm able to. So I'm no way am I the expert. All right,